Hey, Jimbo, you ready for this deal?
Quiet on the set.
Old stories like long lost friends, rodeos and late night bends, history before our time, round pens and pasture rides, cowboys of the Osage.
Howdy, friends and neighbors. Time once again for the Cowboys of the Osage podcast with your host, Jimbo Snively and Cody Garnett. Now let's sing a little bit about it. Cowboys of the Osage, riding once again. Always got some time for a friend. And here they are, the Cowboys of the Osage.
Howdy, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Cowboys of the Osage podcast, brought to you by the Ben Johnson Cowboy Museum, the Buck and Flamingo Turquoise Shop, and now the Saucy Calf traditional Native American food, all located in historic downtown Pawhuska, Oklahoma. Hey, it's old Cody over here, and as always, I have my main man with me, Mr. Rodeo Historian, Mr. Movie Historian, Mr. All-Around Good Guy, Jimbo Snively. Hey, Jimbo, good to see you. Who are we sitting here with today?
Hey, Cody boy, it's another great day in the Osage. You know, Cody, we've always got the rodeo champions, the cowboys, the artists, the movie stars. Osage County just full of them. And today we've got one of the local actors that had a pretty significant part in Killers of the Flower Moon. And we're just really happy to have him. He's also an Army veteran. He's well-versed in the Osage language. He's a member of the Osage Minerals Council. Just an all-around pretty impressive guy. And we're going to talk to him about that movie and everything went with it. So, and I'm talking about Talee Redcorn. Talee, welcome to the
Thank you.
Cowboys
Thank you. Good to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you, man. Where'd you grow up at, Talee?
Well, I started out here in Pawhuska. I was born a long time ago. And my mother's from Anadarko, Indian capital of Indian City, USA, they called it.
Oh, yeah.
And we were here, and I was about 5 or 6, and they separated and divorced. So my mother moved us all to Anadarko. And so I spent my younger years there, and then my dad would bring me back to Pawhuska. And I was about in 8th grade, I started staying here a lot more, and then I started going to school here in high school. So I just, so I kind of had a break there.
Yeah, right. When did you first hear about the Osage murders as a kid?
Well, you and I were talking earlier, this book, my uncle, Ray Redcorn, and the way I understand it, he purchased the plates for this book, Tragedies of the Osage Hills.
Yeah, we sell it. We still buy it from the family. Yeah, the family still puts the book out.
So if you look on the bottom of that first page, it's got Raymond Redcorn, publisher, down there on the bottom of that first page. And that's what he told me. He said he loved to go into garage sales.
I think he bought it at a garage sale.
He did.
The plates from the original
Yes.
book. Yes.
Yes.
I've heard that. Raymond told me about it.
So we were riding around in the truck. I did work for him when I was young, and he said, and here's a book. And I looked at it, and he said, take 1 or 2 or 3, and I did. And it was just kind of laying around the house in Indian camp. And I started reading it, and I started reading about all these stories of the tragedies of the Osage Hills, and it included a lot of the stories in the movie.
Well, I'd never heard of it till I was probably almost grown before I saw that book. And you know, and I went to school, Catholic school, with the Big Horse Boys, the Shackelfords, you know, and I don't remember them ever mentioning it. Do you think they were ever taught that story at that age?
I don't know. I never asked them. I would always assume that We didn't really talk about
Right,
it. I mean,
right.
I asked my dad about, and he would mention a story here or there, you know, what he knew. And it's just something that I think at that time we were just wanting to
Forget.
to move forward.
Yeah, move forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
You know what's interesting about that book is it tells the exact time and place where all these tragedies happen. It'll say, like, you know, on the corner of 6th and Leahy, you know, this guy was shot in cold blood.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a cool book. And there's a lot to be learned out of it because they're all true stories.
Well, I had a girlfriend in those years, and I don't go into detail on it, but I read where one of the shootouts, and I was like, "Is this your relative?" And one of her family members, "Oh yeah, that's our." Yeah. So I said, "Well, I better be careful."
right,
here."
right.
Well, that was years ago, but yeah, that's an interesting. And you know, I worked for the Call Indians, did some work over there, and couple of the guys that were mentioned in the book are buried in their tribal cemetery. So I've just seen bits and pieces of that book, you know, throughout, and you're selling it here, and it's a really interesting book.
I bought it from the family. You know, it's the book still owned by, I suppose, part of your family, and I buy it directly from them still, and we retail it. I think we're one of the biggest buyers. Probably not now. You know, it's just the movie, and the other book is so famous. I imagine. It's
I
really
did a lot
helped.
of construction for the Osage Nation, and ran into a couple of guys from Tulsa and around, and one of them was really struggling, lost his wife, and so I sat down with him one day, and I said, "I want to give you something." He goes, "What?" And I handed him that book. And he really appreciated it. I said, "Just go home and read that. It's about gunfights. It's about, you know, the old Osage County and Osage Reservation." And he came back and he just told me how much he really liked reading. It kind of helped him, you know, beyond what he was going through.
Right.
The guy that wrote that book, I think that his original stores were, my Buck and Flamingo is on the south side of the road there. He had like a little trading post right there.
The Sage of the Osage.
The Sage of the Osage, yeah.
Arthur Lamb.
Well,
Arthur Lamb, yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Can't get anything by Jimbo.
Well, he dressed the part too. I've seen pictures of him, not just on the cover.
Looks
of that.
like Buffalo Bill or something.
Or something, you know, with high top boots and that big flamboyant hat, and he was a character, I guess.
We met a character the other day.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Woo-wee. Woo-wee, me and Jimbo made a character the other day. We'll tell you more about it some other time.
Oh well, when did you first hear something about the book and maybe going to make a movie?
Probably 2000, maybe 2020 or 2019. I just kind of heard, and then I heard there was a audition. So that's kind of probably the first time I heard about it. Yeah.
And you just went and auditioned?
Yes. I went with my daughter to the fairgrounds and I auditioned. And they asked me to read some parts, so I did. And they asked me, "Do you speak the language?" And I said, "Yes." And they said, "Well, say a few things." So I did. "All right, see you later." I said, "Okay." And, you know, I never thought
It was all in the audition. Was it people you knew? Or
oh, yeah.
Was it just,
there was hundreds of people there.
I'm talking the auditioners. It was
I
it
don't
was
know.
it the-
I
was
know.
it Martin? Marty, was he there auditioning you?
No,
okay.
there was
Just some people. They had the first leg
I
of it.
feel bad because I've ran into her a lot after the movie release and everything, and I can't remember her name, but she was head of casting and she was there, and yeah.
Well, that knowing the language is probably what really gave you a leg up.
I think so. Yeah. I think so because I came back and I guess COVID was really bad, so when they came back, they said just send us a phone video,
right?
And I did. And then, not long after that, they said, show up in Bartlesville and pick out 8 or 9 outfits. And I said, okay. So I just did what they told me. That's kind of how I've treated this whole experience.
Yeah.
They asked me to do something, I just do it.
Right. Wow.
You know,
Where did you, where did you learn the Osage language?
Well, the last 2 fluent speakers had a class, Lottie Pratt and Lucille Rubidoux. And they brought along William Fletcher.
Yep.
And we'd sit at the museum and talk Osage. And then finally I started listening more and more, and and then I really got into it. And they unfortunately passed away, and I just kept going and listening to recordings. And then they started the Osage language program, so I started really getting it. Actually taught there for a few years, worked there. Then I taught the first class, college courses 1 and 2, Osage 1 and 2. Put the curriculum together and taught them. So
Wow. A professor, too. That to his resume. College professor. Wow.
my phone's just.
That's all right. So did you know how significant of the part you had in the
No.
movie was during the filming of it?
No, until I walked on the set.
Tell people what part you had.
It was called, there was 2 parts actually. The Nohojinga, which is the little old men, which is a highly spiritual leadership of the old Osage order, that it's gone. And then they just called it Osage Tribal Leader. So it was Nohojinga / Osage Tribal Leader. So it was really 2 parts. So yeah, the first part is that old ceremony, as you watch. That was pre-European days, and that was the Nohojinga. And then afterwards, I would do the marriage and burials and things like that in the movie.
Right.
All my parts were in the language, Osage language.
Yeah. Wow. Was that hard? Was that harder to remember your lines in that, or would it have been in English?
Well, what I would do, I have a cousin, Jana Rhodes, and she was she had the American Indian Actors Workshop, her and another lady named Julie Little Thunder. And they had this acting group. So when I got the part, I took my lines and I went and visited with her for hours. And she talked about, what the actual art of acting and with these things I didn't know. And then I would drive up and down 60 highway and practice. But I just remember going toward Bartlesville, turn around, going through Pusk, all the way toward Ponca, staying on Osage Reservation, just back and forth, just reciting my lines in different, ways of delivery and stuff like that. But seeing the plains and the grass really helps, the flow of it.
Right.
And, what my dad taught me, what was essential with the horizons, the colors, and, the vegetation and things like that. So I try to remember that and bring all that into the delivery,
Right.
what I was trying to do. Because I didn't know I really didn't know until I got there. And they started.
You didn't know what to expect. I mean, this is your first movie, so.
I had no idea.
Right.
So it was really.
How'd you not get in that movie, Cody?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
I was busy selling all those people that was in town stuff, Talee. That's all I was doing. Both my daughters made it in. We're real proud of them.
Well,
for
good,
sure.
good.
There were a couple of the ballerinas in one of those scenes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, amen.
And
Dude.
Daisy, the blonde-headed one, she got a lot of screen time.
Oh, did she?
Because
yeah.
she was outside with Robert De Niro in one scene, and then, heck, they didn't even know they were shooting a scene inside. Robert De Niro and Jesse Plemons were inside, and Daisy just lollygagging around the window right behind the guy. Yeah. So she really did good on.
Well, I remember one scene where they're dancing, or they're moving around in front of the.
Yeah, they're giving them ponies or something.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, the bad guy rolls into town. He's giving all the Osage ballerinas ponies, and I don't, they really didn't go into any detail why, there was Osage ballerinas around here, because we got a couple pretty famous ladies from the area.
Mm-hmm.
First, Prima something or another.
Right.
Prima.
Ballerina.
The highest level you can get in ballerina. Prima ballerina is what it is, I think. The first woman one, I think, was one of these Tall Chief girls over.
Yes, Maria Tallchief and her sister Marjorie.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's really something else. That's really something else.
Well, what do you think of the Hollywood actors?
Well, when I first get on the scene, the set, first one ran into was Leonardo DiCaprio. And
Holy moly.
yeah. And my cousin, Aunt Margot Gray, was in the scene. My cousin Yancey Redcorn, which I was kind of with him through the whole experience. She was on there talking to Leonardo. I was kind of starstruck, because I was like, oh my gosh, that's Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
And she's sitting there, they're just talking like they're old buddies on the set. And she's dressed and, and I finally met him and I just didn't say much. I just, I'm Talee Redcorn and he was really nice.
Yeah.
And we were sitting over there by Bartlesville. This is the first scene. Or the first scene I was in, and Leonardo was sitting on a high chair, and I was behind him. And all his people come, and they're working on his face, and he pulled out his teeth piece, and they squirt it down with water. Then he turns around and he starts shaking it, and all that water just went right on me. I didn't know why. Oh boy, I didn't say a word.
Right. Wow.
Was he like traveling with a big entourage when you saw him? Did he have a whole bunch of people around
No,
him?
I didn't think so because there's so many people
I understand.
there. They were everywhere. I mean, there were people holding food. Then they had the mask people, right?
Yeah.
Hey, put your mask on, and it was really neat. It was just a unique experience. And actually, I go to this restaurant over here, Murphy's Steakhouse.
Oh, yeah.
My buddy and I like to go over there. And one of the waitresses, I think she had they got a big ranch over there. And she's telling me, all her husband and everybody over there were in several scenes. They're actually doing a shot over there now. That's what she was telling me. But I don't know why she's an actor or a waitress because they own that whole location.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, she was telling me all what they were doing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, yeah. I'll never forget. I swear, I'll never forget when the first trailer came out. One of the first trailers anyway. Me and Lauren, we watched it several times. I don't even know how many times. And the very first scene on it is Talee.
Right.
He has this pipe, and all you can see is his fur hat at first, and has this pipe right here, and he raises up like this, and I'm like, that's Talee right there. And the next morning, on my way to work in my little flamingo rig, I saw him walking across the street to this new Osage Welcome Center with a hard hat on, going to work.
Yeah. That's
He had his hard hat on, walking across the street to go to work. I swear,
Yeah.
I'll never forget it as long as I live. And you were in several scenes in all the trailers. I mean,
Yes.
what was it like? What was it like in your life right when those trailers came out and everyone started recognizing you around?
Oh, I tried to keep a little bit of private life, so I tried not to speak out so much, and I like going places and not really being noticed.
Good luck.
That's just my nature, But other people, I mean, they really work it.
Oh, yeah.
Like my cousin Yancey, he's really good. He can get out there and room. I even read something where he went to the state capitol, I think, and they were in session. They introduced and with standing ovation. But he's built for that kind of stuff.
I think Joe Chish kind of embraces it too, don't he?
Oh yeah. We did a podcast with Joe Chish here a while back. Yeah, he's an old roper too.
Yeah,
he's an old cowboy. Well, he told us he's the one that invented the weaving on the hat band.
Oh, okay.
Leonardo was.
Oh, yeah. I think he told me that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty sure of it anyway. Yeah. He's sure mad that the costumes didn't win anything.
I know it. I thought that was
the big show. at the big show.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll never forget that in my life. Me and Lauren, everyone's watching it. Everyone's going crazy about the trailer, and the main star of the trailer, see him headed to work.
Back to the real world.
Back to the real world.
Chicken
I'm
today,
like,
feathers tomorrow.
so, you know, the trailer and everything comes out, and anticipation starts rising for the movie, and you get picked as one of the main guys to travel around with it to the main screening, Cannes
Yes.
Film Festival
Right.
over there in France.
Right.
Holy moly, Talee. What was
Yes.
that like? What was that like going over there?
Well, I've never flown to Europe, so the first experience is getting in first class.
Yeah.
And
They're
then,
treating you like a
yeah,
movie
I was
star.
in like the #1 spot right when you walk out of the pilot's the cockpit. Boom, I was the first one, and so they're all waiting on you and this and that, and then the seat turns into a full bed.
What?
Yeah, you just push the
first
button
time.
and,
Yeah.
and it just goes down, and then you can take a pillow and blanket, and yeah. So
I've seen first class. I've never seen that, Jimbo.
Yeah, I've never went first class. My knees are usually up here to my chin, you know. And some big guy in front of me lays his chair back.
My kids went with me, my daughter, my son, my cousin who I was telling you about, and my sister and her daughter all went with me
Oh man,
to
that's
conference.
Yeah.
So, but I was in first class and they were all economy. I was worried about my daughter because she's not comfortable. She's going to let Dad know.
Right.
But I never heard a word. I was really scared. I was prepared to switch with her.
great. We're like that with our daughters, though,
Oh, I
right?
know.
Holy moly.
She was the one I was really worried about. Because when she's uncomfortable or unhappy, she'll let Dad know.
Yeah.
And so I didn't hear anything. So we got there and they put me on a limousine and I'm going through, I can't remember the city we came in, and then Cannes, I've heard it pronounced both ways, Conference. And it was just a whole unique city. Since I've been in construction, I'm watching and I'm just really noticing the structure, streets, and this and that. So it just looks so much older than driving down Oklahoma City or Dallas or Los Angeles, or maybe Manhattan's got all these old buildings like them, but that's how it was. So I was really intrigued. Everything's just like crunched up around, and it was just a long drive. So as we get toward there, I started noticing seas of people, and they had barriers. And I was just driving, and the guy didn't say much because he didn't speak English very well, and I was like, "What's going on?" Because every time we turn a street, there are just lines of people. And I turn this one, just a barrier there. And he said, "They're here to see you." And I went, "What?" I thought, oh my gosh. So it was just that's probably the biggest event I've been to movie-wise. Just a crowd of people. They just thronged that area. And so I was like, oh my gosh. And I was just kind of dressed casual. So then I immediately felt underdressed. So I get to the hotel. I can't remember the Majestic. I think that was the name of it. I can't remember. We pull up. I get out, and they're rushing to help me to grab my bags and this and that. So I was like, so I slide, and the people are already dressed like for a night party, and it's like 12 and 1 in the afternoon, and they're all in the lobby, and they're dressed to the hilt, tuxedos, the women in night, everything.
Yeah, sure.
And so I start walking, and first person I noticed was, I think it was that singer. Oh gosh, I can't remember her name. Golly, what was it? And I looked at her. Oh my! Then I started seeing all these stars,
Yeah, right.
and I was like really, really starstruck. Oh my gosh! I've never been around so many people like this. And I'm gonna pull my phone out. I got to remember that lady's his name. I'm sorry.
Yeah, she probably watched this podcast. She'll be insulted.
No.
That's all right. You know,
If I could do this real quick, if not, I'll forget about it. But yeah,
Kansas, is it right there on the coast?
it's on the coast. You would not believe the beauty of the ocean, and it was amazing.
Did you get to go on any of those big yacht parties they have out there?
Well, when I got there, we went. We went to a location where makeup, Dua Lipa.
Okay.
I've heard of her.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I couldn't remember because I was. There's so many people.
That's quite a name.
But I did see her, and I was like, "This is a place where
Yeah.
stars are going to start showing up." And sure enough,
Do I belong here? You know,
and
that's what
yeah,
wondered.
I was like, "It's a long way from Pahus."
Right.
So we go in, get our hair and this and that. And I had a tuxedo. That's a long story. My son's there. He's helping me get dressed. And then we go. Then they tell us here. Oh, and then they asked me to say the prayer. And so here's Marty. Here's all the cast and crew. So we had a little small area. And the chief standing bear spoke for a little bit. And then he handed the microphone to me. And I started praying in Osage, and then I started kind of interpreting what I was saying in English, and then here's Marty, here's all the stars, Leo, Robert De Niro, all the staff, crew, Thelma, and there's all the others, and she was nominated for an Oscar, by the way, on this movie. And anyway, I got through the prayer, and we went into, boom, walked out. There it was, the red carpet.
Oh my Lord!
Yeah, it was, and the people were just all over. And so, well, actually, we drove not very far in a limo, I guess, to get the effect, to get out of the limo. We drove around, and I'm in there with my cousin Yancey, and we're talking, and Yancey said, "What do we do here?" And I said, "Just get out like we're getting out at the Osage Indian dances and walk in there like we're doing that."
Like you own the place.
Yes. And sure enough, that's what we did.
Were all the camera people going, Talee over here, Talee?
Well, I mean, the cameras were lined up probably 20 feet from the road.
Okay.
So once you had to walk probably 20, 30 feet, and then bam, there were the cameras. So that was the first time I seen all the movie people in our movie standing there, and then we start walking in, and then the camera started going, and they said, you know, and then Tatanka Beans was standing there, let's dance in, you know, like straight dancing Indian style. So we're like, well, I've got this blanket on my hair, I better not. And Yancey was, well, what should we do? So we just all start walking in, and here's the camera just, you know, I just couldn't believe it. Yeah. So we walked, and then we had to stand here, and we'd stand and pose over this, and we kind of worked our way up. And there's the stairs, you know, and you go up the stairs, and the same thing, and then you get to the top, and then you go to your seat. So, and then it kind of closes off to the crowd. The crowd stays outside. You go in.
That's the first time you saw the movie?
Yes.
At Cannes?
At Cannes.
Oh, my gosh.
So I go down, and there's Marty right in front of me. And it's a small studio. I'm a big guy. Small studio. Marty, his wife sitting there, Robert De Niro and Leo, sit right behind. I was right behind Marty. And then Yancey was next to me, Talee Redcorn, my cousin, brother cousin. And then I think it was Will Below who played Henry Roan. And then Tatanka Beans played John Wren. So they had us behind. And I had those pointy tuxedo shoes on, very long. And I was trying not to move and kick Marty's seat. All night I was like, and then I'd lift this foot over and boom. I was so nervous. I thought I was, you know, kind of irritate him or whatever, but he never said a word. But a few times during that 3.5 hours, I know.
Now, how many movies did they do in one day, or was it one day?
It was just our movie there.
Okay.
And then after the movie was done, crowd, we were on the second row.
I heard they gave him a standing ovation. Is that right?
Yes, they all turned around, and here's Marty sitting right in front of me. And I could just see the throngs of people in that first section. And they all turned around and started clapping. And everybody was started clapping.
And Talee just saw the movie for the first time, Jimbo.
Right, I know. That has to give you goosebumps, I would think.
Listen, they clapped for 9 minutes.
They did.
Right.
9 minutes standing ovation. Oh,
Yes.
what'd that feel like,
Oh, that
Talee?
was,
Holy moly.
I don't know what to say. It's like being a rookie in the NFL and winning the Super Bowl.
Right.
It's just your first shot at
Right,
it. You
right.
come straight in, and it's just amazing. I don't know. I mean, here we are in Pawhuska, Oklahoma. Next, I'm in Cannes, France, with a tuxedo on, standing next to my. I couldn't put it together more.
And that's a classic. That movie's going to go down as a classic, in my opinion.
Yes.
I mean, Godfather, I think it's just going to be an iconic movie
Right.
It was
from now on.
It was an important story that needed to be told, and it should have got one more awards even, because it was just such a
But
very important story.
to be nominated 10
Yeah.
times is amazing.
Yes,
I mean, that's
I'm
a
still
victory
mad.
by
I
itself.
watched all these other ones that won, and I'm like, oh, what are they thinking?
That's
What are
still
these
being
guys
nominated
thinking?
is the main thing. Get nominated 10 times is awesome.
But what do y'all do? So just for all us people that's never ever going to be in a situation like that. So that's happening. 9 minutes standing ovation, and then afterwards, when you're done with it, what's
Well,
everybody go do if you can talk about it?
We come out again. We go up, stand up. When I'm walking out, there's my son behind me, and there's Yancey's sister, and Yancey's sister's crying because her dad wrote, part of the first scene that I portrayed, and we start walking back down that long stairway, and just cameras and throngs of people, and like that. It was just. Then we get back to the limousine, and then we get off the red carpet, and we go to this party. And I asked a lady there. She said there's 5 parties going on for 5 different movies tonight, and she said this is the biggest one.
Wow.
I said okay.
Well, no doubt about it. There aren't any bigger stars in town
Yes.
than that.
Did De Niro give you a fist bump, say you killed it, Talee?
Well, I didn't talk to De Niro till like our 4th or 5th trip. I talked to Leo a lot.
Yeah.
Yancey talked to him a lot. So I'd stand kind of, because Yancey, they said, what do you do? I mean, how's this is so easy? How do you, I said, I just do what my cousin Yancey does, and I just follow and do what he does. So anyway, he would talk to Leo first, and I'd come up behind him and shake his hand. We'd small talk, and it was, I'd see Robert, but I never would chat with him until about the 4th trip. And then I got to sit down and talk to him, and he was an amazing guy. Just amazing.
Did they all get to know you? Like, hey, Talee,
Yeah.
man?
Oh, yeah. They know who I am.
Across the room.
So, yeah, that was Con. And then we went to others,
What was the People's Choice Awards like? Is that what that's called?
Choice. Where was that at?
I don't know which one is that. That's it's the one the Hollywood Foreign Press puts on. It might not be
People's Choice. We did Gotham. We did New York. 2 or 3 New York. I can't remember. One of them was New York Film Critics Award. And I got to speak on every one of those except the Oscars and Con. Actually, I prayed.
Yeah,
like
you prayed.
I said.
Yeah.
So all of them, they asked me to talk, pick up the phone, microphone, and I did. I just, sure. What do you want me to say?
Right.
So then Yancey, my cousin, came in and he spoke 2 times, I think. And that, just to see the crowd react. I think they just wanted to see the braids, the native look, hear the language a little bit. You don't want to go on too long. I try to keep mine from 1 to 2 minutes. I would say say something quick and say it, with passion, or try to and deliver it. And they're just the reaction. I just noticed the crowd's reaction were just, I guess they just don't see people like us, which you guys are used to seeing us here in Pawhuska,
Right.
So, but New York, no.
No, right. Wow. What was the Oscars like?
Well, the one I liked, I went to California for the Palm Springs International Film Festival. And there was a lot of people there. There's probably 5,000 people in that venue. So I went there first of California, then we went somewhere else. I can't remember. And then we went back. And then I got a call, we want you to go to the Oscars. And I said, okay, but we don't want you to go in there. Or you won't be able to go in because there's only limited seating. Sure. I said, I'll go. And next thing I know, they called me, no, you're in the Oscars and we want you in there. I said, whatever, I'm going to do what you... So I got to go into the Oscars and sit in there and watch the whole thing.
Wow.
That was amazing.
It didn't look like it was in a very big venue.
It's not, it's not very big, but the first section, that's where all the big stars and us four, there's myself, there's Yancey, myself, Will Below sat next to me, and Tatanka Means. We all got long hair and braids on, and so and four of us are all sitting there. We got blankets and ribbons, and you couldn't help but notice us sitting there. Everybody's wearing, all this and that, but we had a unique look about us. But we all sat on that second row, kind of elevated,
right?
And
well, they got a popcorn stand there, or what?
Well, you reach on your seat, and they got a little box for food. And I was so nervous I didn't eat it, but these guys around me did. Yancey and Will Below and all those guys. But once our Osage dancers got up there, and I think that stage rose up, and the singers were on there. They rose up, and then they walked inside, this one side and the other, the dancers and the lady singers, and then they started, and we just stood up and we hollered Indian style while they were singing. And I just remember all the ladies in front of us, they were all turning and looking at us like, what the heck is going on behind us?
Wow, they killed it though and got the stand ovation.
Oh, it was awesome. That was the coolest thing I've ever.
It's something else we didn't even say, and some of our audience might not know, is another guy from right around here. He wrote an original song and got nominated for Best Song at the Oscars, and they performed it live. That's what they're talking about.
Exactly. Yeah, he told me. I mean, we talked when we got to the Oscars. He told me that he had to get it in sheet music to be eligible. Number one, it had to be an original score to be eligible for a nomination, and it was. He made that, and that's a long story, but anyway, he made the song, and then he had to write it out in a score, sheet music. So he happened to know somebody in Dallas he had worked with years and years ago. When they did it last at the very end, he was able to get it into this sheet music and get it to him by the deadline, and he was eligible for a nomination. So I thought that was a really neat story.
Oh yeah.
So I got I saw all them out there, all our singers and dancers and lady singers. Yeah, it was very neat to see that.
That's something, isn't it?
Yeah, it was something we'll never. I don't know.
A lot of people watch that.
Oh yeah.
I think it was one of the highest watched Oscars in a long time.
Yes, it was a beautiful sight to see all our natives in there.
You know what's weird? The other day over here at the restaurant, Jameson in the back said, "Turn on Scott George's song." I said, "Okay," and they played for about 30 seconds, and he walked through the door.
Really?
He walked through the door.
Just like it drew him in, didn't it?
We bought his lunch. That day. We couldn't believe it. We couldn't believe it. It was almost unbelievable. I mean,
exactly.
So what was the feeling after the Oscars? I mean, obviously some disappointment, but
yeah, we were nominated for 10, and I was praying and hoping that Marty would get
Yeah.
the best director, because I read the requirements, and I think they changed the standards to be more inclusive, more minorities, more this, more that. And I thought, wow, we got a shot, because I think I read it changed to this year. That 30% of the workers had to be minorities, and so I thought this movie fit the bill, because when I was out there shooting, I saw all our Osage people dressed, and singers, and so I was really shocked when I wanted him to get that. I think he just set the standard for such magnificent movies all through the years.
Oh yeah.
So that was my hope and prayer, was he would get the best actor or best director. Yeah.
Was he a pretty good guy?
Oh, he's amazing. I think my walk through all of this. I meet few people that talk about the art of making movies. My dad's an artist. He was an artist. So we would talk about his technique, his style, his delivery, just with paint and different things. But I would enjoy hearing that when I'd go on this trip. Thelma was one of those that would want to talk about the art. She was the editor. She was nominated Best Editor for an Oscar. But she was one of those that just wanted to talk about, just the beauty and art of making the films and that kind of thing. And I think Marty's just set that part of it too. He's one of those that's setting he might not be recognized today, but I think in time that they'll see how important his work is.
His whole body of work.
Well, I think that he's pretty recognized today. He's probably the best.
He's number one in my book now.
Well, I mean, if you're just throwing off the number one director off the top of your head, it would be him.
Yes.
Same with Leo, as the biggest star in the world. I mean, holy moly, it's just
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he has to wait one of these days. I'm pretty sure that
he's
the gold standard right now.
One of the speeches I made, I think it was in New York, and I said, how they gave me the microphone. I said, our Osage people have a word for when deer look up. All at once, they have a boom, they all look up. And I said, that's how we were, in our day in, day out lives. And we all looked up at one time, and here comes Marty with this film offer. And I said, but the way he handled it was he came to our people and he showed that respect and that friendship, and the Osages opened up their life to him. And I think that's what makes him such a great, contributor to this industry, which I know very little of, but I sure enjoy watching.
Well, you went from not doing it, but couldn't handpick. I mean, if you're handpicking all this, I mean, it couldn't be any bigger, right?
Right.
Period.
Exactly.
You're not the first guy from here to be in Hollywood. We have
this museum here,
Larry Sellers.
Oh yeah.
He was a great
He was a great
actor.
Yes,
One of the
he
bigs.
was.
One of the bigs.
I met Ben Johnson years ago. Dad introduced me to him down here at Smith Apco one time. We're filling up gas.
Yeah.
And we all got out and met Ben Johnson, your museum here.
Oh yeah.
If you had $1 billion and could make another movie about the Osage, would it be just a follow-up on the Killers Fly Moon, or would it be a different subject? Or what would you like to make another movie about?
Well, I was going to talk to the movie, some of the executive producer. We talked one time, and my dad would paint pictures of Osages, so I want it to look like that. I mean, they're just deadly looking. I mean, and when I saw the film, I was like, well, I could lose a few pounds. I'm picking on myself.
Well, it adds 20. The camera does, Talee.
Yeah. But the pictures, the photos, and the the paintings my father made of Osages. If I had that kind of money, I would want to see something like that where we were in our old movement.
Right.
And what kind of story that would tell.
Right.
We had all those religious things that we hung on to. We didn't put them down. That's what the first scene in this movie.
Right.
We put that one down and moved on. But to have something like that in our war movement and our marriage or whatever, have all that into a movie.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Wow. If you were making a Mount Rushmore of Osages, who would you put on it?
Oh, God.
Past or present. 4 names.
What, 4 names?
Well, Mount Rushmore, 4 names.
Oh, 4 names. Okay. I would Chief Pahuska.
White hair. Was he white hair?
White
Yeah,
hair.
that's what I thought.
I'd put him down. Of course, my great-great-grandfather, Waigalanka, I'd put him in there. Let's see. General Tinker.
Yeah.
I would
War
put him-
hero.
War hero, died in
Yes,
combat.
died.
It's got a base named after him in Oklahoma City.
5-star general was flying a plane during the war. I mean,
That's wild.
yeah, and got shot
And
down.
one man I watched from a little kid all the way, and he's a war veteran, my Uncle Buddy, Redcorn.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, he was kind of like, just year after year seeing his song be sung and, knowing him when I was young till he passed away. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd put him.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He had a really good heart, and he was, a war veteran. He actually fought when I was a kid. My mother's from Anadarko, and they had a war. They got a statue of this guy, Cletus Pulaw. He's an Indian from down there, and he's got a statue, highly decorated, was in World War II, Korea and Vietnam. He got killed. But one day I was talking to Uncle Bud, and he was telling me that I was there in that same battle. And Cletus was killed, and he told me what had happened when Cletus died. And he said Cletus was like my John Wayne. He said, when supplies would come, he made sure we got coffee and cookies, and he fought hard for those. So we, our platoon would have all those. So he thought really highly of this guy. And he said he always went out on patrols when, you're ranked that high, you don't have to, but he would put his stuff down and grab a weapon and take off with those guys.
Yeah, right.
Right. But he got killed in November 7, 1967, and Uncle Bud was there. And he told me a lot about what happened in that battle. And it was a regiment-sized NVA force that attacked him. And and it actually read a book, and this guy had a book about that same battle. And I tried to get a copy of that, and I still will. I'll try to get what happened that day in Vietnam when these guys were there. Uncle Buddy was there.
Yeah.
Andrew Redcorn, my dad's younger brother. Huh. So that'd be the 4th one.
Yeah, that's sounds pretty good to me.
You got any more movies in the works right now, Tony?
No, I don't. I auditioned for one, but I didn't hear anything. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I won't turn it down, but I'll do it. So.
Well, you're going to be a biggest name in the movie business as Wes Studi and Graham Greene.
Well, thank you.
All of them.
Yeah.
We're sure proud of you, man.
Thank you.
I couldn't believe it. I swear, we watched it that night. The next morning, I see him walking across the street in his hard hat.
Well, I got to tell you, I did meet Margot Robbie.
Oh, whoa.
I met her. I met Reese Witherspoon.
What?
I met just a lot of stars.
Right. You notice the stars he's picking, right? Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
You know where Margot
good
Robbie?
looking women.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
She was Barbie in the movie. But
right,
yeah, oh,
right.
you do that. Oh.
Right, right. I didn't see the movie. I won't go that far.
I didn't either, but I didn't know if I could. You know,
Are all these movie stars just down to earth people, or some of them crazy movie stars?
Oh, everyone I've met, they're just astounding people, just heart of gold. You know, they're just really, you know, I think they exhibit life. You know, they push hard to.
Because you hear all the crazy stories, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just didn't see that.
What about the Oscars after party? Big time?
Super crowded. I saw Kate McKinnon. I'm a big fan of her.
Yes, sir.
She was standing 20 feet away. I was trying to fight my way through the throng so I can get her a picture with her, but I couldn't because it was just like there's so many people.
Well, that's just amazing to go from just working around in Pawhuska to literally, I mean, you could name a few things on one hand, Jimbo. Super Bowl, World Series, National Finals Rodeo for us. The Oscars.
Yeah, and the Cannes Film Festival.
Cannes Film Festival. I mean, to the absolute biggest stage in that game.
Exactly.
Wow.
I
and you
don't
got
know.
to see how it's all done and all the behind the scenes.
Yes.
You got to meet literally the biggest names in the game. I mean, if we were just throwing names around, flipping through People magazine.
Well, I would see Oppenheimer over here and all the stars. I would see Robert Downey Jr., you know, sitting over here. I would see Emma Stone and her crew. Of course, Barbie, they'd be sitting over here, you know, at a table. And then our table, we'd have the four sisters. You know, we'd have Lily and, you know, well, actually Lily and Tantu and all that. They'd be sitting at the next table. Right. And Robert De Niro. And then
she's great, though, Lily, isn't she?
Oh, she's an amazing person. Have you interviewed her here?
No, we haven't. Ben.
Yeah.
Ben, you know who Ben is? He used to actually work for us years ago. And he's a good friend, you know, and his uncle worked for us for years. And we met Lily the other day, and holy moly, she was just the nicest.
She's just an amazing person. Yeah. I would highly recommend interviewing. She's an interesting. You know, I got to sit down with her. Oh, can't remember where it was. I know it was California, I believe. And yeah, I got to chat with her for a little bit, and because you know, you just so many people. You know?
Yeah.
But I finally got to sit down and talk to her, Robert De Niro, all of them. You know,
Holy moly!
Yeah.
Well, that's just awesome, man.
Tatanka Means. Oh, Tantu, I've talked to her.
You keep him away from Pawhuska, that Tatanka Means now.
Why?
Lauren, my wife.
Oh, really?
That guy.
He's the most. I said, I called Tatanka. I said, you're the Indian Schwarzenegger, man. You're gonna be. He's gonna be. You know, he's got a bright future ahead of him, man. He's cool.
Stay the heck away from here, Tonka.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
No, I was. I know, because I was chatting and walking at the Oscars party and talking with a couple of people I'd met, and you know, these ladies, and man walked straight up to him, and man, I thought I lost him. You know,
Ben Johnson's name ever come up?
Yes.
Being from Pawhuska, winning an Oscar and stuff.
Oh yeah. He's known. Yeah. I can't remember where, but I remember hearing talking about him. Met Debbie Harry in New York.
Oh wow.
Blondie.
Yeah. She come up to me. She's like,
Really?
you got to be kidding
She
me.
was before your time, Cody. She was hot stuff when I was in my 20s.
She was just
Blondie.
like that. She just come up like,
Right.
I was like, no,
I'd have fainted,
this ain't right.
Yeah.
I need your autograph. You know.
What about Eastwood? Did you see him out there anywhere?
Oh yeah, I think I did.
Really?
Yes, I saw. Oh, at the one that was really impactful at the where were we? Gosh, I'm kind of
Oh, with the
ashamed.
Oscars, I don't know. Somewhere.
No,
Over
we were
at Leo's house.
the Fran Drescher's head of it. The
Fran Dresser?
Fran Dresser. She was the nanny.
nanny.
Yeah.
So she's sitting like a table over, I was like, I want to get over there and get her picture, and SAG Awards. I was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you a full member of SAG now?
I am.
Oh,
I'm a member of SAG, and I almost forgot what. But I was at the SAG Awards, and Barbara Streisand, they gave her the Lifetime Achievement Award.
Wow.
And she got up there, and I thought of my mom,
Yeah.
because how much of a big fan Mom was of Barbara Streisand, and just the things they were showing on his screen and everything, and all the movies she played in, and that was really neat to see her on the stage. Yeah.
Dang it. Well, thank you.
You bet.
Thanks for sharing these stories with us.
You bet.
This is the kind of, you think about those kind of things. Mm-hmm. You think about what's it like. We got a true picture.
I got to tell this one.
Yeah, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
I don't know if I should.
Yeah, tell it.
You should.
Okay. I was at the International Film in Palm Springs, and beautiful women. Just look this way, they're beautiful. You look that way, they're beautiful. Here comes Margot Robbie. I was like about to pass out. She's just beautiful. Just like you're saying. And she was sitting over here next to, kind of close to us. So my cousin Yancey, he's the active one. He gets up and he starts walking over to her, and he's chattering and all this and that. And there's Billie Eilish sitting there too.
My daughters would have went crazy.
Oh my gosh. So I go over and I grab my cousin. I was going to say something. He turns around. You got it, bro.
Yeah. She's all yours.
So he was done, and I finally got to sneak around and, chat with her a little bit, take a picture with her. So, I had to tell that story. I'm sorry.
That's funny.
I saw it on his Facebook.
Oh, you did? Did you see
yeah.
that?
Oh,
yeah. That's probably the most well-recognized. I get a lot of comments. So I go here and there in Tulsa. I saw you with Margot Robbie. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Then, of course, I've never seen her movies till after. My daughter said, well, this is, so she's in these several movies. Yeah. And, anyway, I didn't watch the whole thing, but I just, I was like, wow, I just didn't know all these movies were going on. These young people are, watching them and stuff. So, but she's quite the actress. Yeah.
I think you might be smitten with her.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
No.
Kind of read between the lines.
Woo!
What a story, though. What a dream come true. Just crazy.
It's crazy, and I love it.
And me too.
I love everything about it.
It's a real Cinderella story.
It is. Thanks for making us proud.
You
Tom.
bet. You bet.
Holy
I enjoyed
moly.
it.
I know he's going to be in a whole bunch more movies now.
I think he will be.
When they're casting.
Well, he's a member of that SAG now.
When they're casting and they're, this guy was in a Scorsese film, the main guy.
Right.
Holy moly! I can only imagine what's in your future.
Well,
Tom.
I got a new job, and I'm really into, building homes for our people and energy efficient, so that's kind of got my mind now. But like I said, I won't say no. I'm treated like I did this whole experience. You want me to do what? Okay, I'll do it.
If Hollywood comes a calling, you gotta,
I don't know how Ben Johnson handled it. I don't know. He probably had his way, and
he said, as soon as he saw what they were paying him, he just went to the last line where he signed on the dotted line. He didn't even care.
That guy told him to get your lawyer to look at that. And he saw that $5,000 a week, and he just signed it.
Just like you did, Talee. Okay, whatever you want.
I did, and my son took me to this place in Tulsa, and I'll have to call him and say, where was that? And I'm going to go by and thank him. But he said, Dad, you need a tuxedo. So I said, okay. And I go in there, and there's, guys, and it's a pretty nice place. And it's on Brookside in Tulsa.
Okay.
And
Me and Jimbo don't run in those circles.
I me either. And so he fits me out with a tuxedo, and he says, "Come back." And they took measurements and all that. And I was like, "Oh my God, I didn't know it was this or that." But he put this beautiful tux on me, and and I was like, "Oh wow." Then he told my son, "Just take it," and because I told him where I was going, and he goes. And my son said, "Dad, he just gave you that tux," because I thought we were going to have to pay for it. And so I really didn't know what to say. I said, "Well, thank you very much, but I'm going to go talk to him again." So that really carried me all the way through these 10.
Right.
Yeah, it was.
Well, I wish you could remember his name so we could give him a shout out.
I know. Golly, I might have to call my son and say, where was that? Because, but he took me down there. It was on Brookside, somewhere in 20-something and 30-something. I don't know.
Yeah, well, they can find it. They can put some address.
But I will. I'm going to try to go down there and thank him for that.
Right.
That was, got me through all these events. Right. I did little combinations of this and that with that tux. So...
That's so cool, man. That's so cool, Talee.
I know. It was nice.
Well, everybody, be sure give us a like, leave a comment, follow Talee. He's the man.
Yeah. Go to the Saucy Calf and eat a meat pie.
Eat a meat pie and Indian taco.
That was amazing food.
That's the best.
Osage style. It's beautiful food.
We got Asa in there.
Oh, it's beautiful. My aunt and uncle had her store right across the street.
What you were telling me.
I remember that.
Oh, yeah. Same type of food, grape dumplings, corn soup, Indian tacos. Yeah, hop shootsies.
Yep.
You bet.
Can't get anything by Jimbo.
I'm just old.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, Talee.
You bet.
Talee. We appreciate it.
You bet.
Man. That was fun.